If it rains, it's gonna flood, whether it flood 2 feet where you can drive through it still, or halfway up the car, it floods.
Getting flash flooding, the rain coming down so hard this afternoon, the waters rose quickly, surrounding drivers and stranding some of them who tried to drive through the rapidly rising water in Shively. In fact, the windshield wipers were still going on some of the cars. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. Parts of Jefferson County were under a flash flood warning until the evening following heavy rain. On 7th Street Road, right near Berry Boulevard, these two cars became stuck when the drivers tried to go through the high water under the railroad tracks. The water was so high it came up right over the hoods. As you can see, we are told that nobody was hurt. Terry Dickerson lives nearby and says weather issues in this area are common.
It happens every time it's flash flooding. They have to block this off during the winter. They really have to do it because it freezes a lot and it's wrecks and all types of stuff.
Of course, after the storm comes the rainbow. Check out this one right outside the WHAS11 studios downtown around 9 tonight. Maybe that rainbow was saying, way to go, Crusade for Children. After all, it's just a few days after our big weekend. Well, this really was a whopper of a thunderstorm when it came to producing tropical rainfall. Colleen Peterson is here right now. Colleen, some areas got over 2 inches of rain in about an hour.
And that will do it, especially in the areas, as he was mentioning, are prone to it. So that's good that the locals know the spot. But if you ever encounter a flooded roadway, do not drive through it. It can be a little deceiving how deep those floodwaters are. Thankfully, the rain cleared out. The radar is nice and clear, just a few sprinkles moving through Newcastle. And in fact, overnight tonight, we're staying mostly dry. Zooming on into Jefferson County, this is exactly where we saw that flash flooding. Hopefully all of that rainwater likely already receded and we have wet roads, but it's drying out tonight. Thankfully, we're not seeing any more rain in that forecast tonight. Tomorrow morning, it's going to start to pick up as we head towards the late afternoon. In fact, we're a little bit drier than anticipated the first half of the day tomorrow. So we did decrease those rain chances for tomorrow morning, but into the late afternoon, that's that new timing of seeing those downpours. So that forecast model showing mostly dry overnight tonight, a few scattered showers tomorrow morning, but it's going to pick up into the evening. I'm timing it out and telling about what's going to happen later this week coming up.
Thank you, Colleen. Now to our top stories on the WHS 11 team here at 11. Hardin County schools are mourning the loss of a band director killed in a crash during today's heavy rain. It happened about 2:30 Eastern time on the Western Kentucky Parkway down in Grayson County. Investigators say 28-year-old Kelsey Dunn was driving in the rain when she lost control, crossed the median, and ran into the path of a semi. Dunn was the director of bands at North Hardin High School. In a statement, the Hardin County School Superintendent Teresa Morgan said, quote, "Ms. Dunn was passionate about her students and their well-being. She was more than a teacher. She was a mentor and a friend to all she encountered," end quote. Counselors will be at North Hardin High School tomorrow morning starting at 10 a.m. to meet with students and staff who need support. Well, in Louisville here, facing a big financial crisis. We're talking about TARC. It's preparing to cut back on its routes, reducing the frequency of 19 different routes. Tonight, the Transit Authority hosted an open house for riders to ask questions about the big changes. WHS 11 team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Addie Hill talked to some who say they have major concerns.
You can't afford a car in today's economy, so we need transit for our employees of work.
Deborah O'Gorman has been riding TARC buses since 1982. She's sad to learn that some of the frequent routes she rides could get cut or reduced. The Transit Authority of River City is facing serious money problems.
I ride 4th Street and 52. 52 is the medical circulator. It's awesome. It's only 35 cents or 30 cents. It runs every 15 minutes to all the medical places. We ride 72 because I meet people over in Indiana with neurology problems.
Buses 52 and 72 are just two of the 19 routes that TARC will be running on a Saturday Plus schedule. O'Gorman is concerned about the medical routes since she and others depend on them.
People don't realize how much Indiana pays for 71 and 72 because the doctors are all over here. The people over there come to our doctors.
TARC leaders say without the cuts, there could be a budget gap as much as $30 million by mid-2026.
The transit agency has been under a financial crisis for years. This week, TARC and JCPS came to an agreement to loan 70 bus drivers to JCPS. The deal saves TARC jobs and will help JCPS in its transportation disaster.
Everybody is On one level, glad to be able to help out JCPS. I think it's a relief that you don't see the possibility of these layoffs coming right now, but obviously there's a lot of concern.
TARC's 4 high-frequency routes will remain the same. Number 4 4th Street, 23 Broadway, 10 Dixie Rapid, and 28 Preston Highway.
I have to plan ahead of time because they don't run all that often as it is, and sometimes they don't run late enough.
William Mays will also have to make adjustments since his route, bus 63, will be reduced. He says he may have to take an Uber, which is more expensive.
So I'll have to make more planning and plan ahead to when I'm going to go and see if I can do it.
Overall, Mays is happy TARC hosted an open house to hear feedback from him and other riders.
See if they can this will help boost maybe the governments to try to, do something to help out.
He's also hoping this will minimize the effect and get TARC the financial resources they need. In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 1119 on your side.
TARC's board plans to vote on the reduced services and its agreement with JCPS this Friday. There's also one more public meeting tomorrow about TARC. That's at 5 o'clock. It'll be held at the Douglas Boulevard Christian Church. Former Clark County, Indiana Sheriff Jamie Knoll left a courtroom today with a brand new bond facing him, $1.5 million. Knoll was in court today to be arraigned on 6 new felony charges. One of the new charges is for the use of fire department credit cards up until the end of March. That's months after he had been arrested. The defense, however, argued that anyone with access to the account could have made the purchases. Judge Larry Medlock on the bench had strong words for Knoll again when he made his bond decision.
A stable of exotic motor vehicles, a harem of women, at least 3 mansions, at least $3,000 suits, $800 belts, which you get personally delivered. And still seem to think that the Utica Volunteer Fire Department's your personal piggy bank.
If Knoll does post this new bond, he could get out of jail on Friday or Saturday when his contempt of court time is up. 17 people were shot in Louisville Metro this past weekend, a violent weekend. 3 of them died. They were killed. The string of violence coming at the start of National Gun Violence Awareness Month. Jewish Family and Career Services hosted their quarterly community chat tonight, aimed at finding solutions to the ongoing violence in our city. WHAS 1119's Alex Dederer was there to hear what Louisville organizations are doing to keep the city safe. Alex?
Doug, a safer Louisville, community solutions for violence prevention. That is what tonight's panel was all about. And after this string of shootings we saw just this past weekend, solutions to gun violence are what community members are demanding.
A month aimed at stopping gun violence started with 8 different shootings.
We just experienced a horrific weekend.
More than a dozen people shot in the span of one weekend, about half of them juveniles.
I think it just speaks to the urgency that we need to come together for multifaceted solutions for this multifaceted problem.
A safer Louisville, what residents and organizations are demanding, and the topic of Jewish Family and Career Services Community Chat Series.
This event that was picked 7 months ago happened to be coinciding with the shooting of the other day. That's the unfortunate reality that we all have, which is that these things happen in our community often, and it doesn't matter where it happens. It's something that impacts all of us.
A panel of 4 advocates in a packed room full of community members, possible solutions for an end to senseless gun violence were discussed.
It's about addressing systemic challenges. It's creating pathways out of poverty to prosperity and ensuring the zip code doesn't dictate destiny.
You have to invest in the community if you want to see a positive change.
The panelists addressed a lack of resources given to neighbors who need them, particularly mental health resources for kids.
The stuff that just happened over the weekend, a lot of those kids is affected by that, but they don't have nobody to talk to. And then with them not having nobody to talk to, can also grow a thought that they think that this is a way to protect themselves, or they think this is a way to survive.
All possible solutions to the city's violence in hopes of saving lives.
Other solutions addressed tonight were about putting an emphasis on preventing gun violence instead of just focusing on intervening after a shooting, and also giving kids the space and resources to participate in activities like sports or the arts in hopes of deterring them from violence. In studio, Alex Dederer, the WHAS 1119 on your side.
Alex, thank you very much. More news here tonight on the night team. The #1 golfer in the world responding today, less than a week after the Jefferson County attorney Mike O'Connell dismissed the case against him. Scotty Scheffler was handcuffed and booked into jail, as you know, during the PGA Championship. Today, he talked about it again, calling the incident traumatic.
It's not something that I love talking about, and it's something that I'm hoping to move past. But when the charges are dropped, that's kind of only the beginning of kind of getting past it, if that makes sense. So kind of, operating through that now. And it was definitely a bit of a relief, but not total relief, because that's something that'll always, I think, kind of stick with me. That mugshot, I'm sure, is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Scheffler said at no point did he want to file a countersuit against LMPD or the city of Louisville. He said it didn't seem right to make the people of Louisville pay for the mistakes of the police department. A New Albany family is demanding change after a 14-year-old boy drowned in Silver Creek in southern Indiana. Andre Edwards was with friends at Silver Creek Dam near Providence Way on Memorial Day when this incident happened. Family members say his friends aren't sure if he fell or jumped into the water. Andre's family wants the city to close the dam there or post signs warning about its dangers.
Exploring and swimming, falling, whatever it was, they were just being kids. And at the end of the day, it could have been anybody's.
In a statement read at last night's council meeting in New Albany Mayor Jeff Gahan issued the family an apology, adding the city will continue working to improve safety in that area. Happening new here on the night team tonight, Maine Remade. Well, that's the goal of a project set to begin this year in Louisville to improve safety along Main Street. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is planning to convert Main Street to a two-way road from Wenzel Street in New Lou down to 22nd Street in the Portland neighborhood. Now, the project is broken up into 3 phases, east, central, and west. Tonight, the Transportation Cabinet held a public meeting on the west phase from 10th to 22nd. This plan calls for improved crosswalks, more clear bike lanes, and the street conversion.
By creating the two-way traffic, not having so many lanes in one direction, that it will calm and slow traffic speeds, which is a big way in which it'll be safer. The fatalities and more serious injury type crashes generally occur because of higher speed.
Construction on the west phase of Maine Remade is expected to begin later this year. If you'd like to take a closer look, by the way, at the plans, we've got a link for you on WHAS11.com. Also happening new tonight, MSD is receiving millions of dollars in federal money to overhaul Louisville's flood prevention infrastructure. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is allocating more than $5 million for this project. MSD says work could include updates to the flood wall closures and the gates and the Beargrass flood pumping station. The Corps of Engineers will ultimately make the decision.